All right, Sunday, June 1st. This is the Lion Channel. I'm John, day 31 of my manifesting journey, and life just keeps getting better every day. That's not even like, I couldn't say this for 31 days straight if it wasn't true. And the 30 plus days before that, like every day, just better and better. There's so much I want to talk about in this video. I'm just gonna cut right to the chase and let you know it's gonna be a longer video. So if you want to pause it and go microwave some popcorn, come back and watch. I have so much to go over in terms of glitches, just crazy glitches that happened. One, it has to do with, my wish fulfilled, that I fall asleep in every single night. Just a one in like trillions of a chance that this happens the way it happened. Maybe not one in trillions, one in billions though. It's so unlikely. It's just off the charts. Okay. And it's just confirmation that this is everything I talk about each day. It's a simulation. All right. And, when you go to sleep at night in the wish fulfilled, it's like choosing your roller coaster for the next day. And I've even thought about just today somehow implementing that as like a theme song, because I thought about it after yesterday when I gave that roller coaster analogy. I was like, wow, dude, that's really good. Even my wife, and she doesn't really say too much about what I'm doing, but she's like, yeah, I love that analogy. And so the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. And then I was like, I should play that song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Roller Coaster, like as an intro song to the videos. But who knows? I don't know if I'll do that, but it's a fun thought. But okay, first thing I want to get into is it's June 1st, okay, first day of the month. David Elmerolacher Jr., who I've talked about, he's my teacher, my Mr. Miyagi, whatever you want to call it. Like most of the stuff that I talk about here, I've learned from him, okay, and watching his videos. He's the GOAT. He's the Tom Brady of my spiritual world, okay. So I suggest watching his videos too, or just going to watch his videos, whatever you want to do. But he's the best, and I don't know what else to say. Okay, he's the GOAT. So, but anyway, he does a gratitude crash course. He said the first week of every month. All right. I did this last month, and this was, I had been falling asleep in the wish fulfilled for less than a month when I started this gratitude crash course. And it really it felt like after that week that I did the gratitude crash course, especially like 3 or 4 days into it, it just took me to, I jumped another level. Okay, everything had been gradual to that point, but I really noticed the shift after I did this gratitude crash course. And if you're unfamiliar with the gratitude crash course, I'll just explain it real quick. On day 1, which would be today, you write out 10 things that you're grateful for in the morning, 10 things you're grateful for in the evening. Day 2, you do 20 in the morning, 20 in the evening. Day 3, you keep going up by increments of 10. So when you get to the 7th day, you're writing out 70 things in the morning and 70 things in the evening. Okay. Now, David, after I did the gratitude crash course, I realized that David suggests a different way to do this. And the difference is that when I did the gratitude crash course, I was writing out a lot of the same things each day. So my wife, my daughter, certain things would be on my list every single day. All right. But he suggests and recommends to write out, so you can't use the same thing, okay, each day. I'm still going to use the same things because there were some things that happened, towards the end of me doing the gratitude crash course, especially, I talked about like that face. If you've watched most of these videos, I talked about that face that my wife made, that I was visualizing every day doing the gratitude that she hadn't made in 10 years, the face that I loved. And she actually made that face towards the end of the gratitude crash course. And I just thought to myself, I was like, I don't know if she would have made that face, or if I would even realize that she made that face if I wasn't seeing it every day doing the gratitude. All right, so I'm just going to keep writing out each day. I'm going to add to the list. Okay, so if my wife comes up in my mind as something I want to be grateful for, I'm going to write her every day. Okay, but here's the really important part of it. Okay, you don't want to treat it like a to-do list, like you're just, writing down something and crossing it off your list. There has to be emotion attached. Okay, so the way I do it is like, if I'll write my wife on the list and then I close my eyes and I won't move on to the next thing until I can see my wife, which is really easy, but I can see her, and I feel like that those goosebumps come up. Like I can feel the gratitude inside me, and it's like I feel like I hit it, and I'm just like, then I move on to the next thing. All right, there are some things that are hard, like, if I'm trying to feel appreciation for the sky, maybe that's a little harder to hit that point. I can hit it, but it might take a few more seconds than, something that's like my wife or something like that, okay? But the feeling in connection with what you're writing, that's what makes the difference, and that's going to determine how much of a difference this makes when you're all said and done. If you treat it like a to-do list and there's no feeling and you're just like trying to get through it, it's not going to have the impact that it was, that it's supposed to have. And, the purpose it was created was for you to feel gratitude, not necessarily just to make a list of things you're grateful for. You want to feel the gratitude, okay? So that's very important. Sorry, I got my list here. I just don't want to forget anything because I have so much here. But back to the roller coaster. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on that real quick. The analogy that I used yesterday was, falling asleep and your wish fulfilled, is like a roller coaster, because your state of consciousness for your next day and how your next day goes is determined by the state of consciousness that you fell asleep in last night. Okay, so when I was talking about the roller coaster is the ride that you get on. Like when you fall asleep in a certain state of consciousness, you're selecting your roller coaster for the next day, because there is no free will at that. There's really no free will. It's just your free will is to select your state of consciousness that you fall asleep in. That's it. That's your free will. And then that's what impresses the subconscious mind. And I'm sure you've heard the subconscious mind controls basically your reality, okay? 95% plus is what most people say. So think about 95%. If your subconscious is controlling 95%, and you just have this little tiny 5%. I read a book, I forget what book it was, but it's like you trying to control your subconscious mind without it like just by willpower is like you riding an elephant and trying to pull the elephant in the direction that you want the elephant to go. Okay, you're not going to be very successful doing that. All right, so your power is falling asleep in the wish fulfilled and selecting the state of consciousness, the person you want to be, and falling asleep as that person, as if you are that person. Okay, which brings me to, what I was thinking of today, the thought that came to me, I said this to my wife, I was like, what if you're depending on the, how big your wish is. Like if you're making, I don't know, $10,000 a month and your wish fulfilled is to make $15,000 a month, that's not like a huge, people wouldn't look at that and say that's an enormous jump. But if you wanted to go from like $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month, people would look at, most people would look at that and say, okay, that's a pretty big jump. So I was thinking off of the roller coaster analogy, and I was like, what if the amount of roller coasters, okay, the amount of days is already predetermined. Like say by your subconscious, like say you wanted to go from $10,000 to $15,000, which is a small jump. Maybe it's already predetermined that if you fall asleep 10 nights in a row, okay, visualizing, yourself as that person who makes the $15,000 a month, maybe that's all it takes is 10 nights. Maybe it's predetermined that it's only going to take 10 nights to achieve that. But something, that's a little bigger of a jump, like 10,000 to 100,000 a month, maybe that's predetermined as you have to fall asleep in the wish fulfilled 100 nights in a row in order to become that person. So that was just a thought, like a fun thought. I was like, what if it really is like that? And, at that point, it kind of it actually made it a little more fun for me to think that way, because I'm like, all right, I got 31 nights in a row, or 31 days in a row of making videos, and then 20 days before that I've already felt like this huge shift. So if it is 100 nights in a row, I have 50 more to go. But that's none of my business how many nights it's going to take, but it would just be fun. It was a fun thought to see it that way. So I thought I would share that. All right. The next thing is I have a couple glitches that I said I wanted to talk about, and these are they're like mind-blowing glitches. Okay. If you really are not on board with the whole simulation theory and believing that this is the way things work, okay, let me just explain what happened yesterday. I said that I had my brother's 40th birthday party. Okay, it was a surprise party. It was a fantastic time. Okay, which is totally different than my past experience. If this was 2 months ago, this would have been again something that I would have been not really looking forward to going to. Okay, I would have had those self-defeating thoughts and making small talk and stuff, especially since there's that's what you do at these kinds of things. There weren't like games or anything. It was just basically like socializing. All right, but I am just getting so comfortable, and and my thoughts are so far from those kinds of thoughts now that they were the furthest thing from my mind, and I just And, I talked about, I don't know, in a previous video, like being more aggressive in terms of being the conversation starter, the person who asks the questions, instead of being at, the mercy of somebody asking you questions that maybe you don't want to give the answers to. So that totally flipped the night upside down for me in terms of like what I was used to and what I experienced last night. And it was so fun. It was such a great time. But anyway, I've talked about my wish fulfilled on here before I knew that you're not supposed to talk about what your wish fulfilled actually is and share that with people. But I feel like since I didn't know that it's going to be okay and everything will work out perfectly. Okay, that's just a knowing that I have. But I would recommend, if you haven't fallen asleep in your wish fulfilled yet and you hear this information and you know it before going in, do not share your wish fulfilled moving forward until it comes to fruition. And also make sure that you're not falling asleep in your wish fulfilled, and that's not the point, like, of you falling asleep in that wish fulfilled, that you want to tell people, because that could also work against you. It's kind of just one of those things you want to do for yourself, become that person, and just kind of be like, yeah, of course, this is who I am, like, kind of thing. So I've been falling asleep in my wish fulfilled, and I've been imagining two people. Okay, this is something that Elmer Locker or Neville Goddard suggested in one of his books, is that to be, imagine yourself on a cruise ship and two people walk up to you and they're congratulating you on your success, which makes it more believable to your subconscious mind and more real when you have someone actually coming up to you and congratulating you for what you've done. All right, so I selected two random people, and these people are, when I selected these people, like, you could actually say these people were more of acquaintances. Now, they are kind of family, all right, but they're not, I haven't been close. I'm not that close with many people. Okay, so to have these two people in my wish fulfilled in this visualization that I have, and for that to become real would be something that just wouldn't happen. Okay, so last night we pull up to my brother's 40th birthday party, and we pull up at the same exact time that these two people are pulling up. And now, mind you, these two people they're not related, they're not together, and for them to be in the same car, just them two riding together, would probably happen once every year, every couple years. Like, it wouldn't be something that happens all the time to where you would look at this and say, well, they're together and you just happen to pull up at the same time. So for us to pull up at the same time 15 minutes before this event started, nobody else was pulling up. It was just their car and our car, and everybody else was there. There was nobody else walking in except for us four, my wife and I, and these two people. Okay, so how trippy is that? All right, so that is a glitch. Okay, that's showing that this is coming to fruition. All right, especially the way the night went, and these two people were people that I was kind of spending the most time talking to, and things were happening between us that had never happened before, in terms of deepening and solidifying our relationships with each other is just so wild. And it's not like I went into it and I was like, I'm gonna try to, just because I want to make this wish happen, I know I need to get closer to these people to make this happen. It was just natural, just so natural. Okay. And that's the thing about all of this, is that I am not trying. Again, I am not trying to do anything. The only thing I'm doing is falling asleep in the wish fulfilled, and then everything I do throughout the day is just stuff that looks exciting to me and inviting. And it's because my subconscious is making it that way. It's making it seem that way to me. That's the magic of this whole thing, is that your subconscious controls everything, basically. It controls how you see the world and what you see, and whether what you see you want and like, and what, it's just, this is the way it works, okay? So that's one glitch. The second glitch is my mom she was out for Mother's Day, okay, the day before Mother's Day, and she was out at a restaurant, and they were out for brunch. This was we couldn't make it, my wife and I, but the rest of the family was there, and they ordered, I guess, brunch, and they had a special where you could order a drink with your brunch, and it came free. And so she had tasted, she wasn't going to order a drink, but then she saw somebody order what was called a peach Bellini. And so she tasted the peach Bellini. She said, let me have a sip of that, tasted it, and then she loved it, and she's like, and so she ordered one. And so she drank this peach Bellini, and she was like, loved it so much that she said, you know what? This is my drink now. I'm drinking this all the time. So in that moment, what is she doing that I talk about here? Okay, you recreate what you don't want by giving strong negative reaction, but you also do the same thing. You recreate what you do want when you give it strong positive reaction. Okay, it works both ways. So it's like, you have to be really, well, you can know this stuff too, but it all comes back to the wish fulfilled. But this is just how it works. Okay, so she gave strong positive emotion to this peach Bellini, and so this is going to be her drink now moving forward. Couple days later, now let me just say, she had never heard of a peach Bellini. She didn't even know peach Bellini existed, okay, before this moment. I didn't know it existed before that moment. It's the first time I've ever heard of it, okay? So a couple days later, she gets a gift from her sister, and her sister sends her gifts all the time. And she sent her a box of candles. And one of the candles that was in there was a scent that was peach Bellini. A scented candle, a scented peach Bellini candle. Okay, this is 3 days later, after she just gave this strong positive emotion to this drink, peach Bellini. Okay, that is a glitch. These are glitches. So it's just how it works. You can't make this stuff up. Okay, these are huge glitches. All right, so if you're on the fence with this stuff, just and maybe you even think like I'm faking like how I'm feeling, which is like, I don't even know if somebody can do that. Like, go from like such a deep depression that they don't want to be here anymore to like this video that I'm making now. Like, you feel how you feel. I've tried to feel happy and mask it. Like if I had to go, and do something and I wasn't feeling good and I had to smile through it, it's almost like people know when you're faking it. Even though you think like they don't know and you're able to like smile, I can tell like when somebody is just smiling through pain and when somebody is, smiling and they're actually happy inside. So I'm sure that you can tell. And, if you can tell that, then just start doing what I'm doing. I'm telling you, your life is going to change, and it's going to change in a very short period of time if you just apply it consistently. All right, so those are the glitches that I came up with, and then also the last thing, I do have a couple more things, but I see we're at 26 minutes. All right, so the two more things. All right, the 55 by 5 I talked about yesterday. Okay, I did complete it. I was up until 1 o'clock last night because when I made this video, it was right before my brother's party, and I was only at 27. And so when we came home, we were out a little later than we thought we were going to be. And I came home and, and I had to do it because it was non-negotiable. And I mean, if something's non-negotiable, like David says, like if he doesn't sleep, he doesn't sleep until his non-negotiables are completed. So I was up until 1 o'clock. My wife was already sleeping and I was up writing out the 55 by 5, but I do recommend it. It is powerful because your focus goes to your desire when you're writing out 55 times for 5 days straight. That's consistency. And so I also noticed that throughout the day, I was repeating, like in my mind, it was unconscious. And it was just, I was repeating that phrase throughout the day, like a song that was stuck in my head. All right. So, when you're focused on your desire, you're thinking about it and you're becoming it. All right. So, I totally recommend and suggest, if you have the time to do that one. And then the last thing, this is actually the most important. I didn't mean to save this for last. And I hope people have watched the whole video. But somebody left a comment today. It was to date. And I don't know how I could get a better comment. It's not about better, but it's the greatest thing. It's one of the greatest things I've ever experienced. This comment that Sylvana, I hope I said your name right, but such a beautiful name, just left this comment, talking about how she loves these videos, and it brought tears to my eyes, and I don't get like emotional like that, like even now. Yeah, but it was just so well written and so powerful that Sylvana, it means so much. Thank you for leaving that comment, and thank you for your beautiful words. All right, but your question is that you are, and my wife deals with this too. She has hot flashes. Okay, and so some nights are better nights in terms of sleeping through the night than others, and some nights she'll wake up a whole bunch throughout the night. And so I experienced this as well. Okay, and I did mention this in a previous video. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but David had mentioned before that when you are falling asleep in the wish fulfilled consistently, and you've impressed the subconscious to the point where the subconscious knows that you're trying to change, your consciousness. Like you want something different than what it's been giving you. The subconscious will give you chances if you happen to fall asleep in a different state. Like if you've been falling asleep consistently for maybe a couple days, I don't know how long it takes, and your subconscious feels that, okay, they've been getting this for years, or I've been giving them this for months or whatever, and now for a couple days they fell asleep with something different and they seem like they want this. It will wake you up to give you a second chance or a third chance and a fourth chance, like just to check with you and make sure that if you fall asleep in that old state again, that's what you want to go back to. So that's how I've been choosing to look at it. Like when I wake up in the middle of the night, I will just think to myself like, okay, maybe I didn't hit it fully when I fell asleep, and or maybe I fell asleep in an old state of consciousness and somehow fell, and this is the subconscious giving me a second chance. So now I'm really gonna hone in again, and I'm really gonna try and fall asleep in the wish fulfilled. Like not try like hard, because if you're determined, like really determined to fall asleep in that wish fulfilled, then that's what's going to you're going to get that wish, but you're going to have to work really hard for it. All right, so falling asleep, so I look at it as that. So if you can put that label on it, and Silvana, if you can just look at it like, okay, you have another opportunity to hit it again. Now you have another opportunity to hit it again. Every time you wake up, okay, is another chance to impress the subconscious mind with the state of consciousness that you want and the person that you want to become. So yes, every single time you fall asleep, David has said this, you enter state akin to sleep. You enter sats, the drift is what he calls. And so it's another opportunity to impress the subconscious mind. Okay, so you don't have to be sleeping all throughout the night. And when I do sleep all throughout the night, I wake up and I'm like, I must have hit it on the first try. So that's when I really get a good night's sleep, and that's kind of become a knowing for me, because that's what I've experienced. So I hope that helps. Like I said, longer video today. This is my longest one to date, 33 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps. If you stayed through the whole thing, I mean, that's fantastic. I will be back tomorrow, day 32. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.